Hello people, what is up and welcome back to my channel. I am Jamila and I love all things beauty. I love all things makeup and skincare, and I especially love sharing my tips and tricks how to find high-end and luxury beauty products at bargain prices. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I would absolutely love if you would consider subscribing and joining the fam. Okay, so I have a very exciting video for you guys today because I am testing out a new brand. Like, I'm really excited. I have been on this no new brands vibe because it's just really overwhelming. But a new brand, Artitude Cosmetics, reached out to me. Well, new to me. Let's start there. New to me brand. So they reached out to me to ask me if I'd be interested in trying their new release, their Maneater palette. And I said, absolutely, of course. And I was really interested and excited by this brand because it is a UK-based brand. I am living in the United States, and one of the things that I constantly hear from my subscribers and from others who watch my content but are not based in the US is how expensive it is to buy indie makeup from the US because of the shipping and customs cost. And I don't think most of the things that we have here are worth the final price for a lot of international folks, because once you start adding them things up, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am. So I'm really excited that I get to try this brand because it is UK based, because it means that the people that live in the UK, you guys have a chance to pick up really great indie eyeshadows at a better price. So if I can put y'all onto something that's going to be cheaper, you know that's what I'm here for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys my standard first impressions video. I'm actually giving y'all 3 looks today. 3. So I'm gonna give you guys the product details. I'll insert some swatches so you can see what it looks like on my complexion. I am in medium deep with a yellow/golden undertone. Then we'll dive into the 3 looks and we'll end off with just some first impressions thoughts. Now, I did try to go on the website because this is launching in a day or so. I tried to go on the website to do a little bit of digging on the sort of origin story of this brand so I can tell you guys about it. But the website is currently down for this release. So unfortunately, I couldn't get any of those sort of like brand details. But I do have some product details for you guys. So it came in a really nice package that I super duper appreciated, as well as with a little card with some product details. So like I said, this is the Maneater palette. First, let's get into the packaging. I love this kind of like claws scratch thing here that runs through the palette. And then when you pull it out, you see this sort of gorgeous imagery. You have a woman/tiger hybrid together on the front of the palette. Now, let me read the card for you guys. It says that the Maneater stalks her prey silently in the forest jungle. Using her prowess as a hunter, she camouflages herself, the ultimate predator. Her victim is already trapped in her claws. Nobody can escape this powerful feline, the queen of her kingdom, wanted by many, but obtained by none. She was born to be wild and free. This palette has been created to remind you just how powerful you really are, inspired by all the strong women in the world who have fought against the patriarchy. For far too long, we have been living in a man's world, fighting for our right to vote, our right to work, and rights over our own bodies. We've been fighting for the basic human right to simply exist. We still have a long way to go in our struggle against the patriarchy, but things are finally starting to change. The makeup and beauty space has been dominated by male CEOs, but today, as a woman of color, I have been able to start my own small indie brand and create my own makeup line. To all the incredible women throughout history who have fought for the rights that we have today, and for all the feminists in the world who are still fighting for a right to have a space in this male-dominated world, this palette is for you. Aww. I didn't read this card until now. So so this palette essentially was inspired by female empowerment and the struggle against the patriarchy. But they do include a disclaimer that says while it's important to celebrate that, they recognize and celebrate all genders and believe that makeup is for everyone and hope that everyone enjoys the palette equally regardless of gender identity. I love that. Oh my god, that is so amazing. So this is the back of the product. There are some additional product details that I think you guys are going to be interested in, and it is slightly different on each. For the actual sleeve, they do include the ingredients, so if you have concerns, I definitely recommend that you check it out. It does say that some shades contain pigments, which according to US law may not be suitable for the eye area. As a reminder, this is a UK-based brand, so in the UK, it is not, that's not an issue there, but they did include that US-based disclaimer. So they proudly 100% vegan and cruelty-free, and this palette has a 12-month shelf life. Now, I don't think that they include which specific shades are the pigments, so that may be something that you either have to check on the website to see is available or message the brand directly to see how many of these shades are pressed pigments if you do have concerns about whether they would be suitable for your eyes if you have sensitivity. In terms of what you get in the palette, there are 20 gorgeous eyeshadows and 5 unique textures. So you'll get 10 buttery, easy to blend mattes, 4 gorgeous reflective shimmers, 3 high definition foils, and 2 soft multichromes with a subtle color shift, and 1 luxurious iridescent shimmer. Y'all ready for the reveal? Oh my god, isn't she stunning? It's beautiful. So I think that this actually really aligns well with the theme. As you'll see, the box and everything is pretty green, and you do get a heavy amount of green in this palette, but some oranges and yellows as well that go into that Maneater, prey stalking, tiger kind of vibe that we're getting from the packaging. So I think that it is really, really cohesive. So like they said, you get 20 eyeshadows, some mattes, some multichromes, subtle multichromes, just saying, some shimmers, and I believe it's 1 duochrome. No, 1 iridescent shimmer. It does come with a pretty large mirror, very high quality mirror as well, and it does have a little quote at the bottom of the mirror that says, "Unleash the beast within," which I thought was really cute. Now I'm going to bring this up a little bit closer so you guys can see all of the shades, all of the textures. Gorgeous. And the pigment you guys see here really is the pigment that exists. I'm filming in natural light, so this is what it looks like when you have the palette in front of you. Okay, and lastly, let's talk about the price details. Now, this palette is a part of a larger collection. I don't have any of the other pieces in the collection, but I will tell you all of the prices. So the palette will retail for £27.99. That actually roughly converts to $34.50 USD, which is not bad for a 20-pan eyeshadow palette. There will be a brush set that retails for £49.99, a blender, so a sponge, for $5.99. There'll be individual lashes for $8.99, and all of these are in pounds, you guys. So I will include the rough conversions in a pinned comment or in the description box below in case you were interested. Now, if you wanted to get some bundles, they do have that available. There are 2 bundles. You could either get the palette and the brushes for £69.99, or the full collection for £109.95, which is not bad. I think that that is actually really reasonably priced for this product. Now, granted, if you are shopping outside of the UK, you definitely need to take into consideration the shipping costs, because that will make it a little bit more expensive for us. But if you are UK based, them prices are chef's kiss. So just take that into account as you are shopping. Like I said, I'm gonna give you guys 3 looks today, but I've used this palette 4 times so far, so I do have my thoughts pretty firmly formed on this. But let's dive into some swatches, and then we'll dive into the looks.
Everybody got opinions. I'm so sick of trying to please them. I don't mean to get defensive, but I've been feeling kind of fearless. I want dangerous attention, and I really couldn't care less, no. Hopelessly so awkward, but I don't regret it. I don't regret it. That's the whiskey talking, but I don't regret it. I don't regret it. No, I don't give a fuck what other people want, yeah. I'ma live it up tonight. Might get a little drunk, like call my ex up, mascara running from my eyes. They say I'm acting dumb, but I'm just having fun. I'll happily ruin my life. No, I don't give a fuck what other people want. I'm back on my bullshit, back on my bullshit. Yeah, I used to get all tied up, let the rain put out my fire. Now I'm feeling like Rihanna. Ella, 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 ay. Making a mess of emotions and liquor. Tears on my cheeks and they sparkle like glitter. Making a mess of emotions and liquor. Tears on my cheeks and they sparkle like glitter. Hopelessly so awkward, but I don't regret it. I don't regret it. That's the whiskey talking, but I don't regret it. I don't regret it. control, no control. No, I don't give a fuck what other people want, yeah, I'ma live it up tonight. Might get a little drunk, might call my ex up, mascara running from my eyes. They say I'm acting dumb, but I'm just having fun, I'll happily ruin my life. No, I don't give a fuck what other people want, I'm back on my bullshit. Back on my bullshit. I don't give a fuck what other people want, yeah, I'ma live it up tonight. Might get a little drunk, might call my ex up, mascara running from my eyes. They say I'm acting dumb, but I'm just having fun, I'll happily ruin my life. No, I don't give a fuck what other people want, I'm back on my bullshit. Back on my bullshit. Making a mess of emotions and liquor. Tears on my cheeks and they sparkle like glitter. Everybody got opinions. I'm so sick of trying to please them. I don't mean to get defensive, but I've been feeling kind of fearless. I want dangerous attention, and I really couldn't care less. No. Hopelessly so awkward, but I don't regret it. I don't regret it. That's the whiskey talking, but I don't regret it. I don't regret it. No, I don't give a fuck what other people want, yeah, I'ma live it up tonight. Might get a little drunk, might call my ex up, mascara running from my eyes. They say I'm acting dumb, but I'm just having fun, I'll happily ruin my life. No, I don't give a fuck what other people want, I'm back on my bullshit. Back on my bullshit. Yeah, I used to get all tied up, let the rain put out my fire. Now I'm feeling like Rihanna. Ella, 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 eh. Making a mess of emotions and liquor. Tears on my cheeks and they sparkle like glitter. Making a mess of emotions and liquor. Tears on my cheeks and they sparkle like glitter. Hopelessly so awkward, but I don't regret it. I don't regret it. That's the whiskey talking, but I don't regret it. I don't regret it. No, I don't give a fuck what other people want, yeah, I'ma live it up tonight. Might get a little drunk, might call my ex up, mascara running from my eyes. They say I'm acting dumb, but I'm just having fun, I'll happily ruin my life. No, I don't give a fuck what other people want, I'm back on my bullshit. Back on my bullshit. Back on my bullshit. Back on my bullshit. My life is a carnivore, ridiculous and wonderful. No control, no control. No, I don't give a fuck what other people want, yeah, I'ma live it up tonight. Might get a little drunk, might call my ex up, mascara running from my eyes. They say I'm acting dumb, but I'm just having fun, I'll happily ruin my life. No, I don't give a fuck what other people want, I'm back on my bullshit. Back on my bullshit. I don't give a fuck what other people want, yeah, I'ma live it up tonight. Might get a little drunk, might call my ex up, mascara running from my eyes. They say I'm acting dumb, but I'm just having fun, I'll happily ruin my life. No, I don't give a fuck what other people want, I'm back on my bullshit. Back on my bullshit. Making a mess of emotions and liquor. Tears on my cheeks and they sparkle like glitter. I said I hate you, guess I was lying. Kinda miss all of the fighting. When it's good, I like it. When it's bad, it's exciting. I said I hate you, guess I was lying. Yeah, been a while since I left in August. I'm alright, but if I'm being honest, home is where the heart is. to know our love would expire. Late nights in your car, we lit up a fire. We couldn't get the time right. Then I left for the limelight. Too young to know our love would expire. Yeah, been a while since I left in August. I'm alright, but if I'm being honest, home is where the heart is. And I feel heartless. I won't say anything was perfect. I won't even hide it. Home is where the heart is. And I feel heartless. Don't know where my heart is. Losing you hit me the hardest. There's something missing. It feels so distant. Yeah, been a while since I left in August. I'm alright, but if I'm being honest, home is where the heart is. And I feel heartless. I won't say anything was perfect. I won't even hide it. Home is where the heart is. And I feel heartless.
Now, I've been dying to put this shade on my eyes, so that's going to be the centerpiece of today's look. But we're going to go ahead and start off with this shade as the transition shade. It's a little bit orange, which I think works well with this sort of coppery orange look I'm going for today. So I'm taking my Sydney Grace brush. Their brushes don't have numbers on them, so it's really hard to tell, but this is the big fluffy blending brush, and I'm dipping into that shade Tiger, and I'm going to use that as my transition all over the crease.
It's like I'm trapped in a cage, feeling broken in places, reeling from all these.
Today I mixed two different eyeshadow base primers together, and I don't think I like it. I was trying to get a perfect shade for my lid, but I just don't think the two formulas mesh well together. Either way, this is applying nicely and just showing up really well on the lid so far.
Piss me off, and it's not always the deepest cut that leaves the longest scar.
Next, I'm taking my Blend Money B5 brush and I'm dipping into the shade Carnival. It is that almost purpley eggplanty shade, and I'm gonna start deepening up the outer part.
No frills and nothing to show for it, you little black.
So I'm still going into the crease and blending that into the orange shade to get a little bit of depth in this area.
Us two, you can't see it, but you do it. What happened to us? It has me screaming inside out. I say you're wrong, so stupid. Even wrote this song to.
Okay, so I'm just going to gently clean off my brush with my color switch, and then I'm going to go into the shade Beast. It's that deep, rich brown, and that's going to be my outer corner shade.
But it's enough to piss me off, and it's not always the deepest cut that leaves the longest scar. Oh, you got a little black soul, as dark as it gets, you're a gaping hole of emptiness, a big bag of regrets. Can't close my eyes, don't wanna see what comes next. Oh, you got a little black soul, give a shadow in the sun wherever you go. Got no frills and nothing to show for it, you little black soul.
Okay. Now for the start of the show, we're going to go into the shimmer shade. This is called Bengal. Ooh, you see that? Oh my gosh, y'all. I love shades like this. So I'm just going to plop that into, oh wow, the center of the lid. And I'm leaving the inner third open because I do want to add just one more shade. Because I am excessive. But that was just one finger, you guys, and I still have product on my finger. So with one thing I was able to do both eyes, and I still have a ton of product left over. Bananas. And then lastly, I'm going to go into the shade Untamed. It is kind of an iridescent duochrome, so it does shift a little green. It looks white in the pan, and I'm going to put that into the inner third of the eye.
It's like I'm trapped in a cage, feeling broken in places, reeling from all these faces, screaming at me from the inside out. I've had enough, forget it. I don't need it, but forgetting.
I'm just using my Sonia G Builder brush to clean up the edges of this shade and to blend it into the orange a little bit better. Okay, I'm gonna blend a little bit and I'll be right back to show you guys the final look.
It's like you're oblivious to it. You can't see it, but you do it. What happened to us? It has me screaming inside out. I say you're wrong, so stupid. Even wrote this song to prove it. Sing it and you're gone, you lose it from the inside out. Not saying I've got it worse, not saying it's the most hurt I've been, but it's enough to piss me off, and it's not always the deepest cut that leaves the longest scar. Oh, you got a little black soul.
Okay, I'm back and this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing all three looks of the palette. I really like it. Like I said in the intro, I've used this palette 4 times in total because I did use it one time that I didn't film, and I am obsessed. I'm in love. I feel like the pigment in this is so rich. It's so beautiful. It is gorgeous. Now let's get into some specifics. So like I said in the intro, I do think that this is a really cohesive color story. It does lean pretty heavy on the green. So if you're not into green eyeshadow, that may be something that you want to take into consideration in terms of whether you want to pick this up. Aside from the green, you do have some of those orangey, more neutral leaning shades that could give you a neutral look, as well as a pop of pink. But for the most part, you're going to get a green look with this palette, or mainly green looks with this palette. But as you guys saw from the intro, I was able to get some pretty versatile looks out of this. Let's talk about the quality though. This is bomb.com. The mattes are pigmented and blendable. And what I like about this palette is that all of these mattes have a really nice depth for me. I didn't have any issues with any of the lighter mattes in this palette being ashy for my complexion, at least the ones that I used. And I think I used all the light ones. Yeah, and as you can already tell from the color story, there's none here that seems to be too light that it wouldn't work for someone of my complexion. If you're a little bit deeper, I can't really speak to that if these would work well as transition shades. I do believe they would, but again, I can't speak for anyone deeper than me. Either way, I love how these matte shades perform. I am very, very, very picky about my matte eyeshadows, and these blend like a dream. They build like a dream. I experience no patchiness, no like excessive fallout, no gaps, no like odd blending together or lack of blending together. It just worked, and I appreciate that. I'm at the point where I'm not stressing and dealing with finicky matte shadows, and this was really nice and easy to blend. The shimmers, I really like the shimmers as well. I do think that these have a really nice mix of being creamy and emollient without being too creamy. Now when you do dig your fingers into it, you get that somewhat squishy texture that you might be familiar with, but it's not that overly squishy one where you can tell it's just going to be super creasy on the lids. I have not experienced any creasing with these shadows. Granted, very few shadows crease on me because I don't have hooded lids or anything of the sort that results in creasing, but because of how much or how less emollient this is than some other standard indie shadows, I don't anticipate this creasing on other people. When I wore these shades, and like I said, I've worn these a couple of times, I also felt like they lasted really well. I didn't experience any fading throughout the day. They were super pigmented from start to finish, and I'm usually wearing these for a full workday at the very minimum. Usually it's longer. I'd say like 10 hours, but I'm usually wearing these for a very, very long time, and I felt like it was just stunning on the eyes, and I didn't experience any fading. Now this palette does come with 2 multi-chromes, and I will say take that with a grain of salt, or like lower your expectations. They do say that these are subtle multi-chromes though, so if you're going in expecting that crazy indie shift, you're not going to get that. But I do think that it is so subtle that there is beauty in it, because I think it's a type of multi-chrome that if you wanted something extra, or you were in a more sort of corporate, super professional environment, and you can't go for that hyper sparkly, hyper shifty indie, that this is really nice, because the way in which it shifts, you catch it and you're like, wait, did that really it's such a beautiful shift that it's not like overly dramatic or overly distracting on the lids, and I appreciate that. Now, would I recommend this palette? Yes, 1000%. I think it's absolutely stunning. Would I have wanted to pick this up had I not received it in PR? 100%. Like, I think that this is so beautiful. I definitely would have been drawn to picking this up had I not received it in PR. The one thing that would have honestly given me pause when it comes to picking up this palette is the overarching cost. Like I said, this is a UK based brand, so with that comes pretty high shipping for a lot of folks that are outside of the UK. So that's always something that I take into account when I'm shopping from indie brands that are not based in the US. And that's not just this brand, it's Odin's Eye, it's Kaleidos, it's Cosmic Brushes. All of these brands I know, Glaminatrix, they all come with a higher tag because they're not based in the US. Now that being said, if you are based in the UK and you are looking for some really good quality eyeshadow palettes from an indie brand, I definitely recommend checking this out. I'm also really impressed and really happy that this is a woman of color owned brand. I just love being able to support women and to support people of color whenever it is possible. And I think that if this is how they started off, baby, there's nowhere else to go but up from here. So I'm really excited to see what else the brand puts out, because I think that this is just a stunning release and so well curated and so well thought out. All right, now that I've said all of that, I do want to remind you guys of the release details. All of that will be in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you are planning to pick it up. I have to go and do some conversions and figure out the actual prices in US based currency in case you guys were interested in checking it out. But that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the looks. I hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, thank you so very much for watching. Now let me know. I really want to know, is this a palette that you would be interested in? Are you enjoying the color story? How do you feel about international brands, and how frequently are you shopping international brands? I'm just genuinely curious because there's so much on the market right now and so much that we can choose from that that's both in and outside of the US. So leave all that in the comments below. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We have a time here. It's a vibe. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any content from me. As always, I appreciate you guys so much more than you know. Thank you for the support, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye.